Hey, welcome to Mr. Ansell's Cooking Club. I'm Mr. Ansell, and I'm going to be making burgers today. I am so sorry we're coming at you 8 minutes late. We had a bunch of technical glitches today, but we'll get them worked out. Anyways, today's menu is going to be veggie burgers, beef burgers, and hand-cut fries. And I'm going to jump right in talking about what we're going to do with the French fries, because they have to be cooked twice. So I'm just using russet potatoes. Again, couple of things of interest for you guys at home. Mr. Dickerson is listening in, and he's going to be joining us and asking questions. And you guys can ask questions in the chat, and then maybe he'll read the questions in the chat, or I'll get the questions in the chat. So feel free to type in a question that he can ask for us, and he'll be sort of our guest today. So potatoes, French fries need to cook twice, so that's the very first thing we're going to do. I'm going to get my oil going. I'm going to do about probably 1.5 inches of oil, which is half of one of these containers. I'm using corn oil. If you have allergies to corn oil, use whatever kind of oil you want. I think corn and peanut are the two best. I'm going to get this going on high. Hey, Dickerson, your mic's off, in case you wanted to chat.
I do want to chat, but my kids are fighting in the background.
This whole teaching at home thing is wonderful. So with the French fries, I cut a little bit off the bottom, and that gives me a good base that I can make nice slices on. I'm doing about a 1/4-inch fry. They're going to be pretty thick, thicker than your normal fry. I'm going to cut them that way. So we end up with a fry like this. If you don't want the skin on, you're missing out, but you could go ahead and peel it. Do the second tater real quick. When I worked in a food truck for a couple of years, we had a potato machine that you just pulled down and the potatoes came out the bottom. So it's been a long time since I've hand cut my French fries, but it'll work. The last couple of weeks, I make burgers about once a week for my family, and the last couple of weeks I've been doing like store-bought freezer French fries, and it's just garbage. And so I thought today we'd go ahead and do like real French fries.
Isn't that what most restaurants use? Is like pre-cooked, frozen?
I'd say it's like 50-50. I mean, if you've ever been to a place and you're like, wow, those are really good fries, those were probably made this way instead of made, instead of frozen. Any place where you're spending like over $10 on a burger, it's going to be real fries for most places. Okay, so we're going to get started on the next part, which is we're making a veggie patty. I have in this pan, I have oatmeal that I cooked ahead of time, and it's just oatmeal with about a tablespoon of thyme. And thyme just gives it a nice savory texture, savory flavor. So that's literally just oatmeal and thyme. I'm going to add a little bit of salt to it, a little bit of pepper to it. And then I'm going to add I got a can of Great Northern beans. So you can use white kidney beans, red kidney beans, or whatever you want. So it's about a 50-50 ratio of beans and oatmeal. And I cooked the oatmeal just how it said to on the package, which was a half cup of oats and 2 cups of water.
Okay.
And just let it simmer until it's down to like that. And it's maybe a little on the wet side right now, but over the next like 20 minutes, it's going to kind of dry out. And so as it cools, it'll dry out. And that'll be pretty good by the time we get to it. So I'm going to set that aside. We're just waiting for our oil to come to temperature. Have you ever made French fries at home?
Not from scratch. I roast roast potatoes cut in the shape of French fries, but I would be amiss to call them actual French fries. You're the one that taught me the technique of cooking twice, so I've started doing that a lot.
Yeah, that's the important part. All right.
I always dread cleaning up that much oil, so I tend to just like toss them in olive oil and then broil them in the oven rather than fry them.
Yeah, it's definitely like a special treat kind of thing. Okay, so I got my 10% ground beef here. It's about a half a pound, maybe slightly under a half a pound. You can do a third pound, you can do half pound. It really doesn't matter. My wife tends to like third pounds. So I'm going to take some of this off. Anytime I'm dealing with like raw meat, I also like to take off my ring. So I just don't want to get meat juice up in the ring.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got my beef. The size burgers that I like to make is about the size that fits in my hand when I make a ball like that. And part of the reason for that is it's a good sized burger. Part of the reason for that is when you're making like 100 burgers a day, you just need to be able to go quick and not measure things. So that was like my way of measuring. So I'm going to set this aside and make a little burger for my son.
Nice.
Maybe make him a little bit bigger of a burger.
All right. I'll get in on the mic.
So I have it on my pan. It's a good ball. I'm going to flatten it out.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the techniques about burgers is if we were to just put this on the grill right now, it would shrink up and get taller. It would like inflate.
Mm-hmm.
And that's from the muscles in the cow contracting under heat. And you end up with like a big balloon on top. So some people say to like put a divot in the middle.
Okay.
But the way that I like to do it is I put 4 of my fingers like that. And then I put 3 of my fingers like that. And it just makes this nice little pattern in the patty like that.
And that's going to help it retain its shape while it's cooking?
Yeah, well, so what will happen is it will shrink into those holes. Those holes will go away. And then we'll be left with just like a slightly smaller burger that doesn't plump up.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I'm going to do kind of a miniature thing over here. But same idea. And so on this one, same deal. And then I'm going to wash my hands.
I didn't have time to do it this week for the pickles, but I'll try and plan ahead a little more next week.
So hands are good and washed. I'm done touching raw beef, So that's exciting.
Are you?
We're gonna,
Do you have parchment paper under that or something?
no, I'm gonna scrape them off with this.
Okay.
So, pretty generous amount of cracked pepper on top.
Do you ever mix in other ingredients like blue cheese or stuff with the burger itself? Cheddar, onions?
Now, I'd like to keep my patties consistent so that I know how they're gonna cook and I know how they're gonna flare up on the stove and I know all the aspects of them. And then I can put all that on as toppings later. That's sort of my feeling on it.
Okay.
Okay, the oil is good to go. We're going to cook these about 2 minutes. And I very rarely set alarms. We're going to do one potato at a time. I very rarely set timers in the kitchen, but this is something that we're going to timer out. Probably could have done that better. Well, that's going to go for about 2 minutes. And I'm going to set it out on this rack so that it can drain. So a lot of today is going to be sort of like hurry up and wait. Like there's parts where it's going to be fairly intense, and there's parts where it's going to kind of lack.
Do you use a thermometer to check the temperature, or you just know?
I just kind of, I've done this a long time, but you want it to be north of 350 degrees. And from a safety standpoint, if you think that like hot boiling water is 200, you know, this is going to be almost twice as hot as hot boiling water. So you want to kind of treat it with that kind of respect. It looks like my oil is a little hotter than I wanted, so it's cooking faster. So we're at 1:30 and I'm going to stop. And since that oil was cooking faster than I wanted, I don't really have to worry about it rebounding because it's still too hot. I'm going to go ahead and gently set these in as well.
So what?
At home, I would not recommend using deep frying unless like an adult is present. Do not do this by yourself.
What should you be listening for a sound of the oil or watching a movement like you can tell water's boiling? Should the oil be doing something?
Well, so as soon as you put the potatoes in, all of the water starts leaving them like very rapidly, and so it just bubbles over, and you can't even like if I had a camera in this. Yeah, we'll go ahead and no, Karen will kill me. But if I had a camera in here, it would be like it's just rapidly, aggressively boiling. And then the potatoes are done when they're like tender.
You can make up for it if you just on your laptop make sure you're sending in 720p. Then I'd forgive you if you want to pick up the camera and point it in there.
All right. Sorry about the technical glitches again.
It's okay. I had to go hide in the basement because my kids keep chasing me around fighting.
So you're just cooking the potatoes until they're soft. All right. We need to get going on some onion. So you came by my house the other day to drop off the pickles, and you saw that I've been pouring a lot of concrete lately.
Uh-huh.
And there's a concrete analogy that I'm going to give us with regards to setting up your veggie burgers. So with the veggie burgers, the mix we have over there, the beans and the oatmeal, those are kind of like the concrete itself. But inside of concrete, there's also something called rebar, which is little metal strips that go through it that gives it some of the strength.
Uh-huh.
And keeps it from falling apart and coming apart. And so we're going to cook up some onions, and then those onions are going to be sort of like the rebar in our concrete.
So there's probably a shape to them that you're going to use to.
Yeah, I actually want them to. So if we think about it, with this onion cut in half, if I slice them this way, they're not going to be as long as if I slice them this way, and I want long pieces of rebar in my mix. So you know me pretty well.
Yeah.
Everything I do is for some kind of reason.
You've thought it through.
The onion had a little bad spot on it, so I'm just going to cut that off. The onions are one thing that I was planning on doing ahead of time, but with all the technical issues we had earlier, I just didn't have time for it. So, my kitchen is not as big as I would like. Okay, so what we're going to do is, for the third week in a row, saute up some onions. Yay. For those of you following along at home, you'll start to see that I think onions go on everything, because they do. My wife can't stand onions. As soon as that pan gets hot, we'll throw the onions in. I'm going to tend to the bean concoction for a second. So I'm just using a masher. Set this aside. I'm using a masher and just mushing the beans in. I don't want whole beans in my burger. Mush bean in my burger.
What's the closest veggie burger brand that's similar to what you're making?
Nothing.
Nothing.
There isn't one. That's a great question. There isn't one. So this one is going to be, when you're your own boss and you're working at a food truck and you want to have a product that has like the widest appeal to the most amount of people. And so you have people that are gluten-free, and you have people that are vegan, and you have people that are soy-free, dairy-free, and all of these things, right?
Yeah.
So I tried to, this recipe came about because I wanted to have a veggie burger that had the widest amount of appeal to the most amount of people. So that people could come up and be like, I'm this and that. And I'd be like, oh, my veggie burger will work for me. As long as you don't order it with cheese. So that's sort of how this recipe
came. Veggie burger with the bacon.
Oh yeah, you'd be amazed at how many people order a veggie burger with bacon. I'd like it, like at least 1 or 2 a day.
They're delicious.
Would come up and order that. It just blows my mind completely. So I'm really taking my time to make sure all of the individual strands are pulled apart in this. Normally I just kind of throw it in and don't care because I'm caramelizing it and it doesn't matter. But on this one, I really don't want them stuck together. Sorry, Sam, another fan. We have the fan on.
All right. Hopefully the audio doesn't suffer too much.
This will be fairly quick.
For those of you watching, feel free to leave your questions for Mr. Ansell in the chat, and he will answer them.
All right. We're also going to put some onion or some mushrooms in there. Once I get the mushrooms in, we're kind of all in on our veggie burger. This is where you should be talking, Jimmy.
Well, he stepped away for a moment. So, do you add any like salt to your fries, or is that how you make them?
Oh yeah, no, we'll add. Those aren't done. We'll add salt before this is over. But they're gonna go back in the oil one more time. So no sense salting them out. That'll all just get washed off in the oil. So when I was doing my veggie burgers in the car, I first started off. Like kind of cooking them on a griddle, and flipping them. And then I discovered, no. The way to cook veggie burgers is to deep fry them. And then they're amazing. And so you were talking earlier about, French fries kind of waste a bunch of oil.
Yeah.
But they don't waste it if you're also going to cook some veggie burgers in there.
All right. That's a compelling case for using the oil at home.
Okay, so these are pretty good. We're not going for the kind of caramelization we were looking for on our other ones. I'm also not going to put all these in. Some of them I'm going to use for the toppings. So here we go.
So quick review, we've got onions, salt, pepper, oatmeal, and white beans.
Thyme and mushrooms.
Thyme and mushroom, okay.
And then that's it. And we're all in. There's nothing else going in this mix.
When we were making veggie burgers growing up, there was often a lot of soy sauce involved. Are you just using the mushrooms to kind of get a...
Yeah, so the mushrooms and the thyme are what's going to give me that kind of savory flavor.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the entire reason why the mushrooms are in there is for the savoriness of it. All right, we're looking pretty good.
Nice.
I'm just gonna set these mushrooms and onions aside because my kitchen's too small to leave the pan on. These will be on top of the meat burger, maybe a little bit on top of mine. So to recap that, my wife is from Texas and eats a lot of beef, and I am totally vegetarian and always have been. So making the beef burger for her. It's also for the cooking show. I wanted to always try and have like one meat item and one veggie item every week. So
That's how my family was. I was raised vegetarian, and so when we were cooking, it would be like my dad, my brother, and I would all have vegetarian food, and then my mom would be like making steak or burgers on the side.
yeah, my mom was the one that ate the steak on the side. It was usually more like chicken though. Okay, so I think we're kind of at the point where I'd like to start cooking. I'm going to cook the veggie burgers in the oil, and then I'll probably do that before the French fries.
Okay. Same temperature?
No, let's do the French fries first. Yeah, same temperature. They're going to make a huge mess. So I'm going to do the French fries first, and then I'm going to do the veggie burger. And meanwhile, I'm going to cook up the. So I guess I'm done with this pan. Meanwhile, I'm going to cook up the beef patties.
For those of you just tuning in, feel free to ask your questions for Mr. Ansell in the chat.
I would love a question from the home audience. If we have a home audience after being 8 minutes late to our show, might not be a home audience this week. So I'm gonna cook. I'm trying to plan. Every week I've talked about trying to plan it all out so that there's like everything gets kind of done at the same time. I think that's a really, really important part of making quality food at home is figuring out the timing. And so, yeah, go ahead.
That's a huge, like, that's one of the things that blows my mind when I've been at restaurants with kind of open kitchen designs where the line cooks are, making a meal for 5-6 people at a table, and timing that so that it's all done at the same, moment is pretty amazing to me.
It's definitely the hard part. So when you see me sort of like paused and thinking for a second, it's because I'm trying to evaluate where everything's at to make sure it all comes out at the same time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to utilize this back toaster. Sorry again, Tim. I think my burner's pretty good and hot. I'm going to take so I'm throwing it salt and pepper side down. Throwing that salt and pepper side down and then go back and salt and pepper the other side.
We have our first question. Why did you choose to be vegetarian?
I like this story.
Well, the absolute truth of it is that I just really never liked the taste of meat. Like I've tried a lot of different meat, and I've just like as a kid I would spit it out. If there was like a soup, I'd say, "Oh, there's something about the soup I don't like," and there'd sure enough be like a beef stock in it or a chicken stock in it. So I've just never like my palate doesn't enjoy the taste of meat, and I really don't like the texture of meat. I don't like chewing on something forever and having it not get smaller. Maybe good meat doesn't do that, but not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are going on. We put them on season side down, season the other side. We're gonna let them cook for about 5 minutes on this side. Here's a little tip about how to get an internal cooking temperature. If you're going for like medium, put the pan on medium. If you want medium rare, put the pan on high. And if you want well done, put the pan on low. And then it'll kind of hit that temperature that you're looking for. And I made the kids' patty a little bit thinner than my wife's patty so that it will be well done at the time that hers is medium well. So off we go, cooking time. I got some lettuce here, romaine. I'm just literally taking a piece of it, cutting in half. Taking a piece of the next one, cutting in half. I'll probably leave lettuce off with my kids. Dickerson, you want to talk about these pickles that I'm putting on here?
Yeah. So part of my my food routine with COVID crisis 2020 is I'm trying to learn to do a bunch of extra stuff in the kitchen that I've always wanted to learn how to do and not done. And so pickling and preserving and fermenting and canning are all things from my childhood that I grew up seeing done, but never did myself as a grown up. So I've been playing around with like doing a once a week pickling day. And a lot of the recipes you have to, put them in a hot bath and seal the jars, and then you have to wait 30 days before you taste it. I hate that. I don't have the patience for it. So this is a quick pickle recipe. I just sliced up an English cucumber and then dressed it with salt and sugar, about a tablespoon of sugar and a teaspoon of salt, I think was the combination. And once it was all sliced up, I just sprinkled that all over them and then put them on a little metal sieve so that the liquid could drip off, and let it sit there for 30 minutes so the salt kind of gets sucked into the cucumber and pulls some of the liquid out too, keeps them crisp. And then I threw them in a jar with some vinegar. We tried several different vinegars. Which one are you using? Are you doing the rice or the?
No, I'm doing the one that just says distilled.
Distilled, yeah. So I did distilled vinegar, white vinegar, and then rice vinegar. And if I'd had my white wine vinegar ready, I would have done a batch of those too. And I just wanted to see which one tasted good. And it's a really easy way to make a quick pickle. It has the salt and the acid that I like about pickles, but you don't have to wait a month for them to sit in their jar and preserve. So that's what those are. Quick pickle. And you can eat them fresh. They've had basically one day to sit in the vinegar now. I made them yesterday about 2 o'clock. They'll last for like a week in the refrigerator like that.
All right. So we're getting our oil back up to hot. But you want the potatoes to cool down to room temperature. And so they're back down to just above room temperature. It'll be fine for what we're doing. I'm probably only going to cook one batch of these, and then I'll come back and cook more later. So while I'm waiting, I just got some things laid out. So I have, my kid likes tomatoes, so I got a slice of tomato for him. And then I got lettuce and tomato and pickle for the adults. And then I'm just basically doing as much as I can to get ready, because once I drop these things in the fryer, it's going to get kind of hectic in here real quick.
So you're going to do the veggie patties first and then the fries, or the other way around?
Other way around.
There's a lot more moisture in the veggie patties, right?
Well, and they're gonna, no matter how hard I try to get them to not fall apart, they're going to fall apart. They're going to fall apart and make a giant mess inside the
Oil.
Yeah. So I flip the burger. I'm gonna throw some cheese on there.
We've got a question from Ben Dover who asks, "What's your favorite cable TV provider?"
I use Hulu, or not Hulu TV. I use YouTube TV. Great question, Ben. No, but for real, I mean, something to talk about. I did literally just switch like a week ago. On the 15th, I switched to YouTube TV. And I have to say, I love it. It comes with all of the local channels. So you get like 2, 6, and 8, and Fox, and whatever else. And then it also has all the cable shows I want. So quite happy with it all in one interface. I think that's the only streaming service that gets you all of the locals in one interface. Pick that, Sling. I dropped you.
Do you have a cable TV provider, Mr. Dickerson?
No, we have an antenna and watch OPB because we're smug like that, I guess. No, my wife is very has very strong opinions about what my children watch, and stronger than mine. So there's a lot of OPB, and I'm not going to pay for that other than my membership. I stream other stuff. Ansell's almost got me convinced to get Hulu so I can watch Letterkenny, but
Letterkenny's great.
I don't want another $10 a month.
No, looks like the kid's getting a little bit of lettuce. That won't hurt him. Okay, so those two are done. So, on the second one, I'm just cooking them until they get crisp, which should take about a minute.
You looking for a color?
Yeah, golden brown. About the color of this bun, I would guess. And then I'm going to send all this food down to the munchkins downstairs and make my veggie.
My oldest son is not a very adventurous eater. There's very few foods that he'll eat, but at one point last spring, we were cleaning out our pantry and found like a sprouted potato. Had all the little islets coming out. And so I talked to him about, hey, let's go plant this and see what happens. And we grew our first kind of batch of potatoes out of that. And it was the first time I got him to eat potatoes. And now he'll do like my homemade fries or baked potatoes, breakfast potatoes, things like that. But he wouldn't have tried them otherwise if we hadn't grown the plant ourselves.
Wow. Branching out.
Yeah.
Yeah, my goal with Dresden is to just not ever allow him to get picky. I don't know if that's something that's possible, but like every meal that he's ever had in his life has been the exact same meal that we've had.
So jealous.
Yeah, I mean, like here I'm leaving off pickles, but he'll probably end up eating the pickles after mine. That's sort of the trick that I've learned is like, give him one that's not the same as ours, and then he begs for it to be the same.
Interesting.
So this first batch of fries, can you see what those look like?
Yep.
Kind of a nice golden brown.
Looking good.
They're really hot right now. Earlier, Tony asked me if I'm going to put salt on them. So what we're going to do is wish that we had a bigger bowl. So I'm going to stick them in a bowl like this. Actually, you know what? We'll just salt them right in this. I'm going to put them on salt here. And the excess salt will kind of fall to the bottom. I was in the store the other day looking at different kinds of spatulas that help you get food out of oil, and I thought about this, but I'd say that worked out well enough with the normal spatula. Obviously, you're not going to want to put like plastic in this.
Silicone?
Silicone goes to 450, and this might go hotter than 450.
Okay.
So it's best just to
Stick with metal.
stick with metal. Okay, so we got fries. I'm going to throw some of these fries that have been cooling a little bit on the plate and drop my veggie burger in and then go feed this to my kids.
Nice.
And then come back and pull the veggie burger. Okay,
Yeah, I see that.
so I have my veggie burger. Something's telling me this is. It just now dawned on me that when I was doing this in the restaurant, I would make this mix a day ahead of time, so it really stiffened up. So this is going to be a straight disaster, but you'll get the idea.
Yeah.
So those of you at home, make the mix ahead of time. You can kind of see what it looks like there. I think I want it thinner, about as thin as I can get it. There's just no way this doesn't fail.
Like your confidence. So with the veggie burger, do you feel more freedom to like do other flavors, like throw some chipotle in there, or kind of mix it up a little bit for yourself if you feel that way, or do you like to mix around the flavors with the veggie burgers at all, like throw in some chipotle or other things like that, or is that just?
You might put like a barbecue sauce on top when you're done, but yeah, I mean, have fun. What I was trying to show people is just the general idea of like, you need some kind of binder, in this case, oatmeal. You need some kind of structure to it, in this case, onions. And then something to make it savory or however you want it to taste.
Right.
Oh, this is holding together nicely. Very good.
Nice.
As soon as I pull this out, I'm going to throw my mushrooms and onions over the top and then some cheese over the top of that. And then we're going to be done. Wow, I'm excited. I haven't been excited for a burger in a long time because I haven't been making my own veggie burgers. All right, so the veggie patty is going to look. Let me cut this up. The veggie patty is also going to look kind of golden brown. Oh, yeah. It made almost no mess inside the oil. That's crazy. So I'm gonna throw that in there.
It's a little bit off camera.
Oh, yeah. Swap camera. So I have my veggie patty on there. You can see it's pretty golden. Throw some cheese on because I'm not vegan. Give me some of them fries. All right. Do you have any last questions?
Can I come over and have one of those with you? So I'll stay 6 feet away. Those look delicious.
I think that I'll make up the rest of the veggie patties and put them in the fridge and then find a way to get you some.
Yeah. All right.
I think you'll like the veggie patties.
I'll come over and help you install that over stove camera so we can get that third angle.
Sounds good. All right. For those of you at home, thanks a lot. This has been Ansell Cooking Club. And it was a lot of fun. I'm really excited to eat this food. Have a good one, guys.